During the filming of this video, the namesake of one of the characters, Grandmaster Daniel Naroditsky, passed away. This is a reminder to each and every one of you. There is light at the end of the tunnel. Things can always get better. I hope nothing but the best for Daniel's family. He had a great impact on my life, as little chess as I am played in my time, but I thought very highly of him. I hope all of you are doing well. Rest in peace, Danya. Welcome back, everyone, to the Yu-Gi-Oh! Magic era. I don't know if you all remembered, but Rhea was very busy during regionals. And there was a reason. The creator of the card game that everyone has been playing called, as several of their very precious cards had been stolen. Things that we're going to be giving out as prizes for the World Championships. And Rhea feels like she has a suspect. So she has rounded up several very powerful members of the military, some of them she could only find on short notice, to move in and arrest the offending criminals. This is going to be a massive, massive tournament when it comes to the implications of everything. And I hope everyone's ready for a down and dirty street fight. Salem, the Sentry of the Riders. He was able to see the military moving in, as well as a few figures on the outskirts. They're completely surrounded, and he tells everyone it's time to fight. That's right, Salem does some reconnaissance work for this gang called the Riders, and he was able to see everyone moving in, and they were all able to get their decks ready, since there's not really fighting under the new rule. Salem plays a Memory Crusher burn deck. It's not the most powerful, but he's not the offensive powerhouse of the group. Hopefully he can stand up to these encroaching military folks and doesn't get himself arrested. Warden. In charge of the drunk tank at the base, Warden was brought in to assist where he can. An expert in restraint tactics, he can keep a level head in any situation. Yes, one of the members of the military here is Warden, and he runs, not a full-on jail, but he does deal with petty criminals here and there. And this is exactly the kind of work he's brought in to do. He plans on dealing with these thieves, getting them put away until they can face trial, and I think his iron chains are going to be very, very good at that. A mill burn deck with Iron Chain Repairman, 1600 attack. Not a bad boss monster for right now. Fortuna. Fortuna knew this was coming, and made sure to tell David weeks ago. Her fortunes are admittedly sometimes wrong, but she's right often enough that she's still to be trusted. That's right, like most fortune tellers, she doesn't have a 100% record. However, unlike many people, she's honest about it. She did expect this to come, and let her boss, a familiar name, know about it. And she's running one of my favorite decks of all time, Arcana Force. Very selfishly, I hope she does well, but, who knows what these criminals are actually up to, so we'll have to see. Phoebe? Phoebe was just walking to the regionals with her coworker, who was blabbing his normal conspiracy theories only for a fight to break out. Between a rock and a hard place, she has no choice but to ready her deck. That's right, Phoebe is not a gang member, nor is she part of the military, but she appears to be caught directly in the middle of them, and Gyako Tenno Megami's gonna have to put in some work. We've only seen her once. I wouldn't say she's a pushover, but she's not the most powerful deck we're gonna see. Hopefully she could just keep herself safe in this very, very wild situation she's in. David. Between Fortuna's foresight and Salem spotting them, David made sure to have his crew ready. He has no idea why this raid is happening, especially at this scale, but he's not letting his crew come down without a fight. Luckily, he had invited some people to have a talk today. That's right, David doesn't know why the military's here. Which is interesting, because he's the biggest criminal we know. But we'll have to see who these invited guests are, especially with apparently just so many military folks coming in. We know he's strong. We've seen him take first place already with Dogoro Rider. Let's see if he can do it again to keep his crew well on their way. 11. Sent by the matriarch of the clan for this meeting, 11 figured something was up, so brought a deck just in case. Looks like it was the correct move now that the government moved in. What are these Rider guys up to? That's right, 11 is a very familiar sounding name and was brought in to see what David's request was. 11 does have a very interesting Beast Burn deck with the boss Garnisha Elefantes, who's no slouch. Not great, but it'll get the job done in a pinch. But 11's mostly wondering, what's going on here? David's being a little cagey. There's other people here too. Whatever this is, it's a mess. Krieg. As Rhea readied troops, Krieg happily joined in. He needed to get some practice kicking some ass, and who better than some thieving punks? That's right, Krieg is here, and we know he can pack a wallop. His Gemini deck is nothing to trifle with. And, I mean, with an easy fusion monster like Raptinus, powerful monsters like Gearfried and Goggle Golem, I mean, it's going to be hard to say he can't take down this whole thing. We'll have to find out, though. Doc V. Upon hearing of the mission, Doc V quickly volunteered. The doctor focused in immediately on Rich as a target to fight and seemed laser focused on that goal, but with almost a nonchalance about it. That's right, Doc V, who's not a particularly great fighter, she's only a medic, but she immediately hopped on the opportunity to deal with these guys. Interestingly, she went straight for Rich of all people, and we'll have to see if that works out for her. Even though she's, we'll have to see. I mean, Kozaki's not a great boss monster, but maybe she could do something, you know? Icha. Icha was sent by her boss to meet with David to see what the hubbub was. As soon as she arrived, the military came in. Very good. You know, if you're a criminal, I typically don't think the military showing up to interrupt your meeting with another gang is very good at all, but Icha doesn't seem disturbed by it, especially with her La Jin themed deck. She seems ready for a fight. 1800 is a tremendously heavy hitter, and it's got plenty of good support, so we'll have to see how well she does and why she doesn't mind the military being here for some reason. Izteef. Of all the writers, Izteef is perhaps the most unstable. Their older brother's off doing some work, so now this raid is happening, they see this excuse to get wild. Izteef is playing a very powerful deck. Empowered. This is not anything I'm sure most of the military is prepared for. Just because Aether doesn't particularly do anything on its own doesn't mean its support doesn't. Whoever is taking them on needs to be ready because Izteef is not a joke. The Riders have some very powerful members, and you have to hope the military can keep up, or things are going to get a lot worse before they get better. Upon entering the premises, Grayson was immediately suspicious of the circumstances. This was almost too easy. But as the gang was ready for them, but maybe not, still, stealing such valuable items, why would they not just leave? Grayson doesn't understand why David's gang would be here if they stole something so valuable. He's confused, but he's gonna try and, get to the bottom of this. His Cyber deck is interesting. It's still in its burgeoning stages as it hasn't gotten a tremendous amount of support. But Suppression Collider is a massive boss monster, has a lot of normal support, so we'll see if he can take anyone down, get some answers. Rich. Rich has been completely uninterested for a while now. However, Rich caught a sight of someone he knows right as this raid started. However, this doctor also caught his eye. Yet David won that last tournament, but it only seemed to strengthen the notion of them not doing very much. Rich wants to do something. However, he's kind of caught right now, and now they're getting overrun by military, so he's just to deal with that first. His Reaper on the Nightmare is going to be ripping cards out of hands, and who knows what else. But, he's not really happy. Tomas. Tomas was just walking to regionals with Phoebe to meet their coworker Bob. He was hoping that just by talking to her alone, she would see that Bob's an alien. He saw Bob drink out of the fish tank. He's so sure if he just talked to her, but now all this started. Yeah, Tomas is under this, weird thought that, Bob isn't normal, which I don't understand. I mean, he's perfectly normal. We all see it. So, I don't know. I think Tomas is crazy. I don't know what's going on. But he's now going to have to fight because there's a lot going on. He is, however, playing an alien deck. Maybe that has something to do with it. Who knows? But Cosmic Horror Gongiel, the alien deck, we could see some real work done here. Maybe he and Phoebe will get out of here in fantastic shape. Jean. A loyal comrade of Grayson, Jean hopped at the chance to help out. Her new ritual-based deck has given her great results, and she expects to be a force today. Jean, another ex-fighter pilot like Grayson, she's hopped up and she's ready to go. Her Blackluster Soldier is obviously massive, you know, competing with some of the strongest monsters in the game. She's just gonna try and get everyone put away and get back home to her girlfriend by dinner. We'll have to see, though. I mean, ritual decks, they can brick sometimes. Danya. Danya is all about going fast and being efficient. A player who's on an all-out blitz and brings heavy firepower for the riders. Danya is on Skull Flame. Another very powerful burn deck in this setup, I mean, the Supersonic Skull Flame, while not a fire-type monster, brings such burning power to this event. It's going to be hard to deal with this. When you're going this hard, this fast, it's going to be up to the military to keep Danya on the lane, or who knows what's going to happen. 9 joined her sibling today on the call. She's very interested as to why they were called in, because this feels a little bit below her family. Yet 9, another of these mysterious individuals. Yeah, some street gang. Feels below what she thinks she should be doing, but she does not go against her family. Only someone crazy would do that. Her brother would know. She plays a very interesting dark-themed deck. It's nothing tremendously special, but the Cosmo Queen is tremendously high-statted, so maybe she can sneak in a couple wins here, get herself out of this situation. We'll have to see. Shell. A chemist who works in the military. Shell has a very scientific mindset. Her chemical dino deck fits her style, and she hopes that she can help her allies deal with these ruffians. That's right, Shell is playing Water Dragon, and Water Dragons are also full of dinosaurs, so it's very scientific, very fun. Deck's very prone to bricking. Honestly, this is about full power Water Dragon. This is almost endgame Water Dragon she's coming in with, so, you know, maybe she wins something, maybe she doesn't, but, you know, they're here to do work, one way or another. Kin was used to hand-to-hand fighting for years, but since the new rule he had to adjust. But his Ally of Justice deck has exactly the feel for him he wants. Yes, he is on the Ally of Justice deck. He's very good at fighting particular things, but he does have things like Ally of Justice Quarantine that's 1700 attack. You know, maybe that's just going to be enough. It's got some decently high-statted monsters and the ability to shut down an entire attribute. We'll have to see, though. He is, now that he can't beat down his problems, we'll have to see what the military has in store with Kin here. Disc. A hacker who handles the laundering of the money for the writers, often dealing with a rival named Ace. They're constantly fighting online. None of it matters if he gets arrested here. That's right, Disc plays Cyberdarks, and he's constantly in some sort of online war with someone with the code name Ace. You know, maybe we'll have to deal with that later. Right now he's got to deal with the military. Cyberdarks are a very interesting deck. Sometimes low power, sometimes high power. We'll have to see. I expect good things out of him, but I also wouldn't be shocked if he loses in the first round. Hawk. Hawk was recruited at the same time as the rest of the class you know. However, his aptitude and potential were much higher than the rest of the class, even Korra. This is his first real attempt to show Rhea what he's capable of. That's right. Hawk should have been with Pandora and Case and Korra and Mark. Instead, he's here on a mission while everyone else is playing card games for fun. He's got the Red Eyes Black Dragon, the embodiment of potential. We'll have to see what this very powerful deck can do, and if he is as worthy of all of this praise has been heaped on him. He's not 100% into it, but this is what Rhea wants. He's going to step up as best he can. Tulsa, a mild-mannered man that you wouldn't know was a hardened criminal. Often seen sipping tea around the hideout, his mind is constantly scheming something terrible. As unhinged Zistif is, Tulsa's very calculated in how unhinged he can be. If only embodied here by the Ito, the Supreme Magical Force, probably one of the only cards as wild as the subdued, impressive, terrible scheming that Tulsa can do. We'll see what that means for everyone, but he might be scary. Ollie. Ollie is often seen as the right-hand man of David. Not the muscle of the crew often, but while they're down a member, he has to step up to both keep Istif under control and keep the crew functioning. That's right. Ollie plays a very interesting Banish-style deck headed by Zeta Reticulant, and he's here to keep everything running well. We'll see how much he can help, as this is a big ask for anyone. And finally, Rhea. Rhea's here and is not playing around like she does with the recruits. They're at the tournament having their fun, but this is important, and she needs to get the job done. That's why she grabbed as many people as she could. It's time to pull out the big guns. Rhea's ready. I hope you're ready for a street fight. And welcome. I hope you're ready for a knockdown, drag-out fight, because Rhea is here to put a stop to this, but David's crew is not just going to roll over for them. We're going to see who can really do something about this. And of course, there's some of these wild cards in here. Who knows what that's going to do? I'm really excited to see, if David's crew can really solidify their hold here. If any arrests can happen, we'll have to find out. We are going to start with Doc V versus Rich. Doc V was very eager to get here and immediately gunned for Rich, so we'll have to see. Two decks we have seen before, once each back on training day. An okay opener here. Let's see what Rich has. Ooh, Forceful Sentry, putting away the Giant Kozaki. And a T-set pass. Drop off, losing the swords, which Doc V happens to love Swords of Revealing Light, so that's going to be a big one. Megasonic Eye here for Rich. Who's going to set up his own swords? Ooh, drawing back into the Giant Kozaki. Not a great one. Going to Draining Shield the Nightmare. Go to Megasonic Eye. Alright, we're just going to trigger the Dark Hole. Interesting. I think Hannibal Necromancer pretty much had that board on lock, but, I guess she's got a plan. Time to trade off tomatoes. Potentially, we'll see what they each go into. Into Cyberstein. Ooh, that would have been really good if he didn't continue to have attackers. Double Trap Hole gone. Just overworked. Doc V definitely behind at this point. Possessed Dark Soul, Mystic Tomato, 2,800, 2,600. Rich in a very good position. The Kozaki a little late to be able to help get the Giant Kozaki on board. is this deck just still lacking the power? Kisatai, I think it's gonna get destroyed here. Okay, it does activate. Should lead to a little life gain here, but when does this life gain go off? In the standby phase. 700 life. Okay. Losing the giant Kozaki from hand. This might be lights here for Doc V in game 1. Okay, well. Hannibal Necromancer. Just passing. Can't you pop the... Yeah, I could pop the Robin Goblin. Chooses not to. Let's go into another tomato. Rich would force 2 discards here, if she had any. And that's going to be game 1 to Rich with a perfect victory, no less. These two are really eyeing each other in this game. Let's see if she can do any sort of comeback here. Just set pass. Very, very interesting. Rich over with the Pot of Greed. Forcing away the Legendary Fiend. Alright, this might actually be... Trap Joe's Dust Shoot gets rid of the giant Kozaki. Harpies. Cyber Sign gonna pay 5,000 for Black Skull Dragon. Alright, well it's gonna be hard to beat over that. Fissure gonna wipe away the Cyber Sign. But he had 2 fissures. Yeah. Chooses to reborn the Cyberstein to summon one of his own fusion monsters. Dark Balter. He just said, I don't need your Black Skull Dragon. I've got my own. And a turn 4 win for Rich. And Rich very easily 2-0ing Doc V, who doesn't seem as beat up about it, but maybe it's because she knew she wasn't coming in with the strongest deck, I don't know. But next up, Danya versus Grayson. Alright, Doc V unfortunately let Rich continue on, who might be able to escape. But now, let's see if Danya's Skull Flames can take on Grayson's Cybers. Danya, a very high-ranking member of the Riders here. You know, let's see what they have available. Ooh, not a great start. Maybe with the extra draw from going second. Alright, Bitron pass. Is that Bitron? Double check the name. Digitron. We're just an armored zombie. There goes TT. Each side choosing to wall up with a 15 attack point monster. But Grayson has a fissure. Now getting in with double Digitron for 3,000. Alright. Shield Crush, not quite what you want here. Armored Zombie again gonna attempt to play defense here. UFO Turtle, not terrible. And a third Digitron. A little early for the Skull Flame, unfortunately. See what the Pot of Greed can manage here. Not dark holing, instead summoning another armored zombie. However, seems to be a decent defense at the moment. Hit the Supersonic Skull Flame. Grayson looking for just a little more damage before he goes in. Danya bricking with just all of the Skull Flames. And there goes the Dark Hole. Danya trying to bluff. Didn't work out for them. Alright. It's good to eventually try and set up some burn, but right now, the wild thing is if Grayson had just attacked already, a lot of this would have changed. And there we go. Bringing back the Skull Flame. Steal 800 burn. Going into the regular Skull Flame. Burning... That's not Skull Flame, that's Burning Skull Head, which is... Oh, Flame Buffalo. A very nice card. When do you activate? Oh. I have to get through the Skull Flame first. Okay, not from field. Here comes the Burning Skull Head to hand. Which does have enough attack to start running over these 0 defense point monsters. Danya has now taken control of the board because Grayson didn't go for game. Alright, just setting Poison Mummy and passing. Grayson gonna need a big comeback here. Danya just with the Ukazi for a little more burn. Poison Mummy triggers the TT. But Supersonic Skull Flame. Dropping Grayson to 1,000 points. Can the Cyber Stat come back? Depends on what that face down is. And the Book of Life. Some more burn for special summoning a zombie. And burn. That's it. Game 1 goes to Danya. See what Game 2 has, if Grayson can pull this back, choosing to go second. Hypothetically good, try and keep the board clear, maybe he can get in. Honestly, not a bad opener here for Danya. Tremendous Fire, Turtles or a Mummy. UFO Turtle, pretty good. Digitron, it's gonna deal 100. What are you going into? Another UFO Turtle. Alrighty. Lots of ways for Danya to go here. Going with the Blind MST. Hits the Trap Hole. Pyramid Turtle into the Skull Flame. UFO Turtle. Taking Grayson down to 4,500. Does he have anything left in the tank here? Maybe, but now there's a Supersonic Skull Flame sitting in hand. TT. Going down to 1,900. Alright, able to search up a Digitron. Is this gonna be enough? Armored Zombie, I think, is gonna go for the attack here. And another 2-0 by a rider. Not a great start here. And another 2-0. As Danya moves on, the next person going to attempt to step up is Rhea to take on Istif. Here we are, Istif versus Rhea. Istif with a very strong empowered deck here versus Rhea's new Dark Machines. She really looked out for one of the strongest opponents she could in Istif. Very simple T-set pass here. Ooh, MST for the back row. And the Launcher Spider. Istif has a very, very monster-heavy hand here. Getting to search up an Illusory Gentleman. And Rhea just getting it with Dekuichi, who unfortunately does have less attack than the Illusory Gentleman. Huh. It was an interesting play. Not sure I loved it. I probably just would have normal summoned an Illusory Gentleman, maybe waited to Reborn, but okay, time to see if Rhea has anything in hand here to summon with the Heavy Metal Raiders. Blast Sphere. 2000 burn from the Death Scissors. Istif on the back foot here. And in my opinion, one of the heaviest hitters here. So it is not great for them. Alright, TT. See if Twin Barrel pops a TT anyway. It does not. This gives Istif a chance to establish a board here. 1500 attack from the Illusory Gentleman. Rhea now on the back foot for sure. Another 1500 attack point monster. And we're choosing to put the Illusory Gentleman to defense mode with that Ribbon of Rebirth. Reborning the Death Scissors. Oh! Is that game? Yes, it is. I didn't see the vision for a second, but with the limiter removal, yeah, you get Hibikime, but you also get 2000 burn. Rhea's gonna take game one. You know what? Not a play I saw coming. As we head into game two here, Istif going first. Can they fight back the powerhouse that is Rhea? I don't think so with this hand. Yeah, there's a Reborn and a Harpies and a Ribbon of Rebirth, but with just an Aether in hand. And Rhea gets the Heavy Metal Raiders. Only 1400 attack from the Launcher Spider. But oh. It's the limiter removal. Okay. And the Rebirth on the, I forget the name of this one exactly, Red Sparrow Summoner. However, not choosing to go in. And Heavy Metal Raiders into the Barrel Dragon and another Launcher Spider. It's pretty close to curtains here for Istif. Reborning the Spider. Blast Spider taking out Barrel Dragon. 1700 defense on the summoner, so it's not nothing, but a little burn here from Rhea as well. Getting another Barrel Dragon. Punch in the box might save a single turn? Depending on the attack order? Alright. Barrel Dragon down to 400 attack. I expect to see a Harpies to blow everything away here. Malevolent Nuzzler, not good. We've got 0 monsters on the board. I was just saying Isteve has all these monsters. Only for them to not draw anything. But Rhea sure got another Heavy Metal Raiders. Isteve just hanging on here, and alright. Now 2400 attack, just ending the turn. Because the Heavy Metal Raiders makes it so hard to attack here. Barrel Dragon not popping. Oof, choosing to take a lot of damage just to get these monsters to 2400 attack. Okay, protects the Dekuichi. I'm gonna be real. I think Rhea's got this one. Especially if this Barrel Dragon actually gets a pop here. And that's it. Yeah, I think we are seeing a 2-0 Rhea, who's come back not to play games. And that is going to be the first gang member defeated in 2-0 fashion by Rhea. And next, we head off to see Fortuna versus Zepp. Fortuna playing one of my favorite decks of all time, Arcana Force. And Zepp, the reporter on Warrior of Zera. Zepp has definitely got himself mixed into something crazy here. Hopefully, he's able to figure it out. Maybe he can get to the bottom of something. A decent starting hand here from Fortuna. Zepp reinforcements for Warrior of Zera. Zerato for the Sanctuary in the Sky. Unfortunately, the Fool doesn't care at all. It's going to be interesting to see which route Fortuna takes here. Choosing to go for Temperance, who gets Trap Hold. 2400 Tribute Monster is pretty good, but it does fall for the Trap Hold, and it would have reduced all damage Zepp took. Means I expect a lot of the Chariot to kind of have to carry here. Ooh, 2100 attack points. As we learned from Mark in Worlds, sometimes just a 2100 wall is plenty. The Chariot in defense mode. Camera Clop's gonna eat the trap hole here. Till Fortuna gets another Fool, she might be kind of stuck. Yet the Moon not great here. Another Camera Clops. At least able to defend from a Camera Clops attack here. Fortuna, you have anything to start turning this around? Dust Tornado's really not it. Is this reciprocal? Oh, Dust Tornadoes to clear away the Sanctuary in the Sky. That was actually a great idea. So Zepp forced to set up set up some swords. Or Fortuna will also be setting it up. So, even though swords has been coming down in popularity, we do see back-to-back swords of revealing light here. Camera Clops with 1600 defense, not bad to have in defense mode. And Temperance, I mean, it's not bad to have in hand, it is a Karibo. The Magician. Alright, last turn of swords here for Zep. Okay, there's a lot of ways for Fortuna to go here. Choosing once again to go with Temperance. Now, Fortuna will be taking half battle damage as long as this 2400 attack point monster stays on the board. But it's also a 2400 attack point monster, so... Dark Hole. Clears up the board. However, Zep not confident to go into attack position. Ooh, Shadow of Eyes. Alright. Zep using his expertise to see what's going on. Draws a card off the Skill Angel. Not a bad turn at all, especially if Fortuna stays bricked like this. Alright, she's going to risk it. And Tails. Zep gets any card he wants from deck. Who knows what it is with how this game works. And that right there is going to drop Fortuna to 700 life points. It's kind of the Fool or nothing. And Tour of Doom is not it. Especially with the Dust Tornado. Looks like game 1 is going to Zep. Summons the Ceremonial Bell to show off his hand. You know, I appreciate knowing that there was 2 Archlords Rato in hand. I mean, to be honest, that's probably one of those he probably searched off of the reading there. Alright, let's see here. Fortuna with a playable hand. Setting the levers will prevent some stuff. Tour of Doom. Alright, that's going to stop normal and flip summons. So Zep can only set here, or special summon. Pot of Greed, good to dig here. And a Light Barrier. Sanctuary, this is good with the Sanctuary in the Sky. The Chariot going to get heads. The Lovers also heads. Fortuna with a great start there. Able to get the Skill Angel, able to gain 900 life points. It's not a lot of life, but, I mean, we've seen life gain do some pretty good stuff. Zep on the back foot here very quickly. That cleans up the Chariot. But, because Sanctuary in the Sky is on board, that is no damage for fairy monsters, so not an amazing field spell for Zep to have against this particular opponent. But because the AI will not tribute summon into swords, he might be able to start pulling ahead on board. I'm not sure. Interesting, clearing away both. No, that was actually pretty good. So again, a Light Barrier heads. This time, however, choosing to tribute set Temperance. Not tribute setting the moon before. So at this point, it's Zep kind of counting... Oh, there goes the light barrier. Kind of counting on getting an Archlord Zerato here. Temperance flip summoned. So the effect will be Tails. So as long as Temperance is on the board, Zep is only taking half damage. Getting another Warrior of Zera. Which gets Trap Hold. Camera Clops. Gets in for 16. Is this it? Fortuna fought, and now just has a handful of tribute monsters. Which that's almost all that's what, the third Temperance? Oh. That is 4,800 damage. Forced to Temperance here. Without some sort of defense, this is going to be it. Alright, now it's the third Temperance. But if Zep can get any monster here except for Ceremonial Bell, that's it. He's just lethal on board. No matter what happens here. Protects from the Archlord Zerato, but does not stop the Warrior of Zera. Fortuna gets 2-0'd. Does mean she gets away, though. Wasn't a cop that stopped her. Zep, able to 2-0 Fortuna. So he moves on through his investigation. Next up, Salem versus Warden. Salem, another member of the Riders, with his Memory Crusher deck versus Warden's Iron Chains. This, I think, is going to be a very interesting game. Memory Crusher, Mystic Tomato, some removal spells. Not really a bad opener here. Unfortunately, the Memory Crusher has nothing to crush, as unfortunately Warden runs no extra deck. Poison Chain getting Dust Tornadoed. Well, let's get the second one. However, he didn't summon an Iron Chain into attack mode, so who knows. Alright. Setting the Memory Crusher, so it's gonna be... Alright. Well, Iron Chain Repairman. A lot of card. A Chain Link 3. Don't see a lot of those. Mystic Tomato going into Witch of the Black Forest. Iron Chain Snake milling. Iron Chain Repairman dealing a whopping 300 burn. And there we go. Salem's going to Dark Hole. It's going to get a Witch Search. Not bad. Gets the Brain Crusher. Sets the Tainted Wisdom. Choosing not to swords on an empty board. Ooh, Bloodsucker. 1300 attack, a little more mill. Just gonna fissure it away. Swords and Dark Deal set, and alright. Now that Warden's swords are up, can only set and pass. Polymerization, nothing to poly into. And another... Which one are you? It's been a while. Gravekeeper's Servant. Bit of a standstill as either player tries to draw into some way to make progress. Brain Golem. Warden still with nothing. Salem. The Pot of Greed, not amazing against a mill deck, but sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. Just a brainjacker. Well, hey. That might have been enough. Tributing to go into the Brain Golem, which just gets trap hold. Alright, well. Warden finally making some progress here, reborning the Brain Golem to deal 2,500. Which 2,500 for a single tribute monster is crazy and probably the best thing just about anybody can do. Brain controlling the Brain Golem. And then Warden's Fiendish Chain, so loses 2 and then gets Fiendish Chained. However, his back row's full, so maybe that's a handful of back row there for Warden. Well, it's about to be a graveyard full of back row now. Losing the Blast with Chain as well. Warden not in a good place. There we go, Dark Hole. Yep, 2 more set cards. Just a trap hole, which will assumedly stop if anything can happen here. MST gets the Dark Deal, but going to Solemn, yeah, I think that's actually not bad. Solemning the trap hole is going to put a lot of pressure to keep the Iron Chain. I had to double check his name, Iron Chain Coil. Going to go up to 1,400 attack. Brings it to a very close game. However, Salem with the Fissure. Gonna choose to Brain Control first. Knock Warden down to 1,050. And that's gonna be game here to Warden. Game 1. I think Salem fell for the same trap I would have, because I'm prone to missequencing plays myself. Maybe he thought like I would have, like, oh, Fissure will deal with it after I Brain Control it. Sangan, Fissure, not bad. Alright, double Poison Chain. And a Bloodsucker. Gets a Mystic Tomato. Alright, Gravekeeper Servant. Gonna start that little bit of incremental mill here. Warden is not a fast mill deck by any means. Salem losing a tomato. Repairman. It's gonna be 300 burn. Send a Witch here. At least there's the Fissure to help things out, and a Trap Hole for after that. Loses the Memory Crusher off the top. Unfortunately, 0 burn from said Memory Crusher. Okay, as long as that face down isn't something crazy, Brain Crusher is actually going to do tremendous work here. Unfortunately, it was Solemn Johnson. Gets another Brain Crusher. Would have liked just about any other monster there. Probably some Iron Chain Snakes face down. Road Ice, I'm searching Repairman. It's gonna get Trap Hold. And then the AI chaining TT to that for reasons we may never know. Okay. I mean, Brainjacker might help out a little bit. Warden once again with a full back row. Well, Salem looks for any way to keep things going. And unfortunately, Brainjacker is best face down here. Oh no, it goes the other back row? Wow, because Warden's back row was full, it protected from the brainjacking. Alright, maybe with swords up we'll see a little mill here from the deck. Nope. Ancient Brain getting Trap Hold. That may be the first time ever. Harpy's the back row. And here comes Brain Crusher. 2400 attack. I forget what your effect even is. Oh. Well, you know what? That's maybe not terrible, because now Warden has the Fiendish Chained Brain Crusher, so it's gonna give Salem a little time. Do not Harpies. Okay. Warden gonna have to look for a play here. Oh no. I think Salem here giving up the only thing that was protecting him. So there goes the Ancient Brain. Which Brain Crusher crushed Ancient Brain, now it's back. And that's gonna be game. Looks like another 2-0 for the good guys. Easy cleanup by Warden here. Warden apprehending the next criminal as Tulsa takes on Tomas. Tomas just in the wrong place at the wrong time, forced to defend himself here against Tulsa. But I mean, what can we expect from someone like Tomas? So wrong about Bob. Being wrong just must be what he's good at. Who knows? Tulsa with the very dangerous boss of Ito, the Supreme Magical Force. Alright, well. Huge turn here. One of the few special summons anyone gets is that Alien Dog. That alone might be enough pressure. Pot of Greed. Here it is, gonna pop the Ancient Ruins. Ooh, Chain Disappearances the Alien Mars out of the deck. The A-Zone doing a lot of work here. It's only getting rid of 300 at the battle step, but that's all you really need it to do. Down to just 1,600. Does Tulsa have any way of fighting back from here? I'm not sure if Brainjacker's it. Alright. Necrogardna sure protects from the alien kid, but does not stop. The next alien. That is game 1 to Tomas. Fighting for both himself and Phoebe. Heading into game 2, being forced to go first here. Not a great one here. Well, this is a good Harpies. It's a very good Harpies. Yeah, with 1,800 defense, it was going to be a pain in the butt. Autonomous action unit, paying 1,500 to get the 1,600 attack point monster on his side of the board. If there's one thing Tomas has, it's a lot of 1,600 attack point monsters. I think it was a very, very interesting play. Basically giving up some life points, but in exchange establish the alien dog with the counters. Honestly, tremendous play here. What's Tomato looking to get here? Alright. Twin-headed wolf. And there's the Edo. 2,200 attack. Just becomes a recursive force. It's been a little while since I've built these decks. 2,200. This is all Tulsa can do at this point, but it might be enough. $2,200. Last turn for Tomas to try and take the game, or are we going to game 3? Well, it's a monster defense mode at least. Goes the Alien Mars. Back row going to get Dust Tornadoed, and that's going to be it. That means this is game 2 to Tulsa here. Despite the very promising game 1. But to see who clenches it here. Tomas going second with his aggressive deck. And Tulsa with not much to speak of card-wise. Going to be able to solemn whatever normal summon this is. Actually, yeah. With the solemn into the autonomous action unit, going to be down a lot of life points, but it might be a fine board. We'll have to see. Oh, Reborn even better. Saves 1,500 life points. Blind MST. Hits the Mass Hypnosis. Okay. Now it's a question of what does Tomas do here? Okay, Alien Skull to Alien Dog. And the Waboku. Yeah, Yeah, unfortunately, you have more A counters than your opponent. So, while the good boy gets put in the trap hole, it doesn't ultimately matter as the alien skull gets in for 1600. Going ahead and using the autonomous action unit to get back the alien kid. Oh, well, that's it. With nothing on board, nothing in hand, Tomas is going to defeat Tulsa here. Which, while that's... Oh, no, Necroguard not going to get one more turn. If Tomas defeats Tulsa here, that's good for him. He continues through this. But that might be bad overall, as there's no one to apprehend him. Tomato into Witch. Okay, there we go. Tulsa bringing this game back little bit by little bit. That witch search gonna get a twin-headed wolf, which gets TT'd. Does Tomas have anything with 900 or more attack? No, not currently. Air Eater, not a great draw here for Tulsa. Luckily for him, Tomas also bricking. Tomato gets solemned. As gross as that is, that might have been the right call. It dealt a little more than the Tomato would have dealt in 2 turns. Somehow Tomas not drawing a monster. Tulsa hypothetically getting a little more time here with that Waboku. According to Twin-Headed Wolf. And then into the Gangiel. Tulsa not even bothering as Gangiel takes the game. And he slips away. And admittedly a very close match. Tulsa able to get the 2-1 victory. For better or worse. Next up, however, Ollie versus Kin. Ollie here with a very interesting Banish Zeta Reticulant deck. Meanwhile, Kin playing Ally of Justice. Alright. The Ally of Justice. Quarantine, getting Trap Hold. This isn't gonna be the best stuff for... Okay, they're Chaos types, so Kin might be able to get some of these Ally of Justice effects off, but that's what happens when you play a deck like this. If your opponent isn't playing enough light monsters, a lot of your effects aren't gonna work. Not that that's particularly come up yet, but... Another Ally of Justice Quarantine's gonna run over the Tomato here. Getting an Armageddon Knight, sending the Zeta Reticulant. Dimensional Alchemist. The Light Imprisoning Mirror. Going to stop all light monster effects. So while that Alchemist could have done some good work here, not so much now. Mystic Plasma Zone into Gateway, right? Cosmic Gate. Yeah, Cosmic Gateway. Alright. Anything left in the tank here? No. Doesn't look like it's it. Ishzark. Not only a little too small, but can't even banish anything. that is game 1 to Kin. Able to stop just enough light monsters. So it will be Ollie going first here. We didn't even get a real taste of what his deck is capable of. We'll have to see if we can, though. Foolish Burialing the Zeta Reticulant, setting up a tomato. Not bad. However, Kin is just going to take it. And set up a Mystic Plasma Zone. Just Searcher probably should have come out a little earlier, but that's okay. Gonna trade that off. Divine Wrath. Stopping the tomato effect. However, that might have been exactly what Ollie needed here. LA Justice Quarantine. Now, if you're Ollie, you have to decide if you risk it with the Warrior Lady here. The risk did not pay off. And that's 5,100. Kin and the Allies of Justice get a perfect victory, taking down Ollie. Kin taking this surprisingly easily as he apprehends Ollie as we head into a very interesting game of Disc versus Phoebe. Phoebe, like her co-worker Tomas, just in the wrong place, wrong time on the way to regionals. Now going to need to take on Disc Cyberdarks to stand much of a chance. However, her deck has definitely gone through a couple of upgrades here. We'll have to see if it's enough. Alright, Hoshiningen, unfortunately, is not quite what's needed here. Pops the Bluff Fissure. Just another back row. Master Dragon Twin-Headed Behemoth in for 29 total. Gonna get to set a Dust Tornado. Disc doing fantastically here. Blind Dust Tornado to get rid of the Cestus of Dalaga. Cyberdark with nothing to grab. Protecting the Hourglass. Is this going to give Phoebe time to breathe? Well, Hecatrice searching up Valhalla. And going into Gyakuten no Megami. Banishing 2 lights for Soul of Purity and Light. And that's it's a good little grab here. And the Twin-Headed Behemoth. I guess as long as Disc doesn't Dark Hole like I know he's tempted. Nope. In fact, just going to run over the Gyakuten no Megami with the Cyberdark Edge. Soul of Purity and Light is a decent little card here. Alright, Swords is a little backup. And the Cyberdark Keel. So we have all 3 pieces, but I mean... And there goes the Edge. Don't love the Dark Hole. Would have loved to see see the push for the Cyberdark Dragon, but I get it. And just reborning the Soul of Purity and Light anyway. Master Dragon for some floating. But Phoebe firmly in control over Disc here. Forced to set up his own swords while he tries to dig. Alright, Cyberdark Keel going to equip the Armored Cybern, going up to 3,000 attack. How much? I have to check how much. Oh, because it's also getting the attack from the attachment Cybern on top of that. Yep, you do count as a dragon, so I mean, again, you can tell how long it's been since I built these decks. Thought Disc was in some amount of trouble, but this has been flipped right back around. It looks like Phoebe is going down in game 1 with an exact victory as we head to a game 2. While her co-worker Tomas was able to win, is she going to be able to hold up here? Shining Angel set 1 pass, not terrible. Probably should have done that the other way, but that's okay. Gonna start the floater battle here. Who wins that? Let's see. Shining Angel into Element Valkyrie. Neither of them choosing to continue the chain of floaters. Feather Duster. There's the Gyakuten no Megami into Soul of Purity and Light again. And unlike last time, this there's not a full established board here to take, make big use of that. Cyberdark Horn. Okay, that is going to be enough. At least kind of. Soul of Purity and Light cleaning up the twin-headed behemoth. Understandable. Reborning the Gyakuten no Megami, huh? Phoebe have anything to pull this off here? Alright, well, sending the horn to defense mode, clearing that away, not terrible. Not even feeling like Disc here can attachment Cyburn. Is there anything left at the tank? Or are we heading to game 3? Alright. 300 here. I assume Hecatris cleans up the horn. Alright, so if you're Disc in this situation, I mean, what can you really do? The only hope right now is to draw a Cyberdark, perhaps? Hunter Dragon sure helps there, but all of Disc's defensive capability right now is coming from Phoebe's Gyakuten no Megami. And that will now be blown as Gyakuten no Megami in attack mode has less than Soul of Purity and Light. Reborn of the Hunter Dragon with the... I mean, this just became a great field here for Phoebe. It's going to deal a 3,300 direct. Down to just 1,400. Hell, if she had done that, the game would have already been over. And there we go, however, the attachment Cyburn. And that's it. Phoebe's taking game 2. You can unexpected die for Hunter Dragon, but it does not have the defense you need. Hecatrice clears that up, and Soul of Purity and Light takes the game, and we head to game 3. Can Disc fight off this random office worker? Phoebe going first. Very interesting strategy here. Shining Angel with the Cestus of Dalga, which is a Cestus of Dalga is just a tremendous equip spell. Wisely popping those. To another Master Dragon. There's the Gyakuten Megami. That's can trigger the TT. Valhalla summoning Gyakuten Megami into Soul of Purity and Light. Okay. Go to 2,200 attack. And attacking directly. Which only deals half damage, but, I mean, you've got a bigger monster, and you can start chipping at life points sometimes. That's all you gotta do. Cyber Dart Keel. A little effect here. It's a Hecatrice. Runs over the Hecatrice. Oh, my cat wants my mic. Alright, another set. Just gonna deal the 950 to the face. I think that's smart. Purity and Light just gonna keep cleaning things up, but with 2 Cyber Darks on the board, I wonder... Oh, another Edge. And the Reborn for the Hecatrice that's going to get Solemn Judgmented. Just enough to get over the Soul of Purity and Light. Just going to give these monsters just enough power to run over Phoebe's defenses. Phoebe, who now really only has this exact turn. Must Reborn, Soul of Purity and Light. Just to TT the board. I get it. However, Cyber Dark Edge with Master Dragon. It's exact lethal. Defeating Phoebe here. And with the shockingly close 2-1. Disc takes it. There's a lot of riders in this this top 16. And at least one is going to continue as David takes on Rich. Alright, David versus Rich. Rich, who seems awfully combative, is actually choosing to take on David here. Very strange to just step up to the boss like this, but we know David has a good deck. So, who knows what this really means? Siju, and we're gonna see it already. Giving up a Manju and a Chaos Rider Gustav. Straight into the Dokuro Rider. Rich getting to search Megasonic Eye. And then Curse of Anubis. I mean, David in very commanding position here. Oh, okay. Reaper on the Nightmare. Nightmare Horse into... Well, Reaper and Nightmare Horse into Reaper on the Nightmare, so... Going to tear away that Chaos Rider in hand. Searching another Dokuro Rider. Alright, giving up some damage to just clear off the Dark Hex Sealed. I don't think that's a bad idea. Rich still choosing to tear cards out of David's hand here. And the swords, so unless David can make real progress, okay, at least he's gonna get to keep his hand empty by playing cards. But Rich is gonna continue to attack. Okay. Dokuro Rider not being an effect monster. 1,500 points of burn from just desserts. Unfortunately, that revival of Dokuro Rider is just gonna... it's just gonna get discarded here. Then Frontier Wise Man goes after the Manju. Yep. And then set pass over. Interesting. Alright, Megasonic Eye. Unfortunately, that Rai Rider is going to cause permanent stun here on that Megasonic Eye, so now that Dokuro Rider doesn't really have to worry about that. Here comes the Disc Blade Rider. Banishing a trap to gain 500. Gonna go ahead and run over the Megasonic. And the Frontier Wise Man. Rich down to 3,000 life points. Is there anything else he can do here? Ooh, that's gonna, I assume, be a pretty big Harpies. Tomato into tomato. To the Hex Sealed. Alright, fusing into Dark Balter the Terrible. Actually able to run over that Dokuro Rider. And I don't know... Okay, there is a trap engrave. So Disc Blade Rider's gonna get to run over the Dark Balter. Dust Tornado backup, definitely not bad. Yep, there we go. And it was TT, which of course David just never gets caught by. David knocking Rich down to 100 life points. And unless that is a Spirit Reaper, does Volkstav Alright, there's game. Sure, you get the tomato summon. But 500 burn. David doesn't look like he's taking this betrayal well. So we head into game 2. Rich getting to go first. David with a pretty decent opener here, you know, depending on what the next couple draws are. Stygian Street Patrol. Forced to TT. Alright. Honestly, the Trap Hole and the TT, not bad. Widespread Ruin getting the Dark Hex sealed. Like I said, this is a decent hand if David gets an okay draw. Unfortunately, no. The difference between an okay hand and a bad hand sometimes is just one card. For Rich with nothing to play either. The drop off getting rid of the Disc Blade Rider. Alright, Swords Revealing Light. The AI, unlike with Instant Fusion, not just ready fusioning for no reason. That's interesting. Possess Dark Soul for 1200. Puts something. No, there it goes. Getting out a Zombie Warrior, which just goes away. I just complimented you on not using it for no reason. Rich has taken very good control over this game. But now we'll have to see what he does without swords. Just going on defense. Des Volkstov, time to start getting in some burn. 1000 off the Just Desserts. And another 500 from the Volkstov. Am I saying that right? Volkskov, yeah. Close enough. Alright, well. Search for Rich, burn for David. Rich getting that Megasonic Eye. Taking 500. What else can we do here? Well, nope, Senju just searches another rider. The Spirit Reaper. Unfortunately, that means missing out on that 500 burn. Now it's going to give Rich time to do something here. Reborn's the Disc Blade Rider. Okay. However, Trap was activated. And Curse of Anubis. And then, really unfortunately, tributing for what is almost assuredly a Megasonic Eye down there. Spirit Reaper was a much better decision, especially in that board state. Not a lot of ways to get around indestructible monsters right now. Okay, well, Chaos Rider. David's Rider monster is just very good at keeping up pressure. TTing. Probably smart. That Frontier Wiseman was about to be bigger than the Chaos Rider. Honestly, Rich is one ritual spell or one Manju away from, I think, completely taking over. Okay, well, Rye Rider's still bigger than the Hex Sealed. Gonna be able to set up a stun if anything does overrun it. Oh. But steals it with the Possessed Dark Soul. Alright, and so this is gonna, I think, be Dokuro Rider's only attack here. Because it's assuredly running over that Rider. Oh, it's not going to. Alright. We are seeing no vehicle collisions at the moment. Okay, well. Summoning to defense mode was an interesting decision. Could have gotten in 2200 damage there. Ooh, Secret Barrel, some very good burn here. Which I imagine we see almost immediately. The AI sometimes chooses to wait on those things. Right, 800 burn. And losing the MST. And that's it. David going to 2-0 Rich here. Whatever Rich was planning, not going to work out for him. And David dealing with that quite easily. Rich scurrying off, but we know who possibly knows what his plan is moving forward. Next, however, the mysterious 9 versus Danya. 9 here for one reason or another. But as things seemingly are falling through all over the place, Danya's going to just attempt to fight her off. A little bit of burn with the Ukazi. Armed zombie pass. Not terrible. The Dark Elf. Very nice. And gonna get the armored zombie for herself. Double cost on. That's gonna be 37 to the face. Definitely worth the 1000 here if you're 9. Unfortunately, even after that blistering round 1, Danya not off to a great round 2 here. As 9 takes game 1. It's off the back of simple fundamental beatdown. See what goes on in game 2. Danya going first again. Alright. A good amount of back row here. The tomato getting trap hold. Just gonna dark hole away the armored zombie. Okay. 9 not quite as strong of a start this time. Very smartly not bothering to solemn the harpies here. Just gonna pop into the pot of greed. Any monsters to get on the board? Nope. However, here's Dark Elf, and it gets TT'd, so once again we stay on a clear board. Trihorn Dragon just kind of rotting away here in 9's hand. Pyramid Turtle would be good without the fissure there. And there's going to be a trap hole after that. Alright, Burning Skullhead, 1,000 attack exactly, so into the hole you go. And 9 gets Illusory Gentleman, a card that's been very, very good for a few decks recently. Which is just going to get Dark Hold. They're just using all of their removal on each other. Danya getting to Reborn Dark Elf. 1,000 for 2,000. I think that's a fair exchange if you're Danya here, especially because you try to get in that chip damage. Cosmo Queen. Not what you want to see here. These are two of my favorite cards of all time in 9's hand, but you don't want them at the same time with no board. Just a Dark Effigy is not going to be enough. It looks like we're going to be going to Game 3 here. Once again, no fancy plays, no big trickery, just removal till you get a board state. Nine once again going second. Oh, now that's a very good hand here. Third game in a row that Danya opens with the Armored Zombie, but I don't think this is going to go nearly as well as last time. Ancient Rules into the Cosmo Queen. Bringing back the Armored Zombie with a Trap Hole and a Common Charity in the back row. What's getting popped here? The Common Charity. Okay. Hammer Shot takes out the Cosmo Queen. Alright, that really did quite a number here. 2 9's board state. Just relying on a single Armored Zombie. It's not where you want to be. But when Danya's got no cards. And the Dark Effigy. That's going to rapidly accelerate. This might be, without something happening, this might be the last turn that Danya gets. Face down, that's dubious. Okay, the UFO Turtle. Into a UFO Turtle. Into the UFO Turtle. Alright. 100% not out of the woods. We're going to see a perfect victory here from 9, or are we just going to see a... Alright. Unfortunately, summoning into the TT. Clear boards once again. Oh, but yeah, that Birthright's gonna be strong. Well, less strong now that the Cosmo Queen's banished. But Trihorn Dragon. That's only 50 less attack. 9, do you have anything to follow this up? Alright. Choosing to crash as Trihorn Dragon takes the game. 9, letting Danya escape here while continuing on herself. And 2-1. 9 takes it over Danya. Next, Icha versus Rhea. Icha here to make a deal, coming up against Rhea of all people. We'll have to see what that means. Alright, definitely not a bad start here for Icha. La Jin and a trap. But the terraforming for Rhea, getting the heavy metal raiders. I mean, ooh, and loses the Thunder Ruler. The Blast Spider. Alright, well, nothing to pop with the Twin Barrel Dragon here. The Field Spell about to put Icha in a very big predicament. Taking 100 to gain 100 attack. Well, King of the Swamp's probably the thing I wouldn't have set from that hand. I probably would have set the Hyosube. There goes La Jin. Blast Sphere taking out the King of the Swamp. The Katu Death Scissors here. I mean, Rhea handling this pretty well. Yeah, Blast Sphere just attaching to the Hyosube. And then choosing to wait to get the burn. And then, unfortunately, playing out of order, killing your own monster for no reason. Could have had a La Jin on the board. Rhea forced to swords here to rebuild. But both the field spell and swords, something that would normally not get destroyed, will get harpies here, and the Hyosube getting in for 1,500. Alright, well, even if this twin barrel doesn't get double heads, that's fine. Yeah, double tails. Runs it over by 200. Icha is kind of relying on getting a La Jin here. Dekuichi. And Twin Barrel Dragon. Alright, if Rhea gets anything else here, that is game this turn. Blowback. Only one heads, but it is big enough. We're gonna go to game 2. Okay. We'll have to see. Is Icha gonna be able to fight back here? Definitely not terrible for Icha here, depending on what it is Rhea has, but Rhea has heavy metal raiders, so barrels, 1700 attack. Lajin pass. Oh, blowback or a twin barrel. All right, doesn't pop the Lajin here, but I mean, okay. The AI plays this right. Soul Hunter into Ushioni. All right. Clears one of those twin barrels, but the next one's about to not care and brings back the King of the Swamp. Oh, just to go into Barrel Dragon. See if it pops the Soul Hunter here. Nope, 3 tails. Rhea's not had great coin flip luck. Gonna take 750 just to boost Dakuichi here. And set up a swords. Barrel Dragon going to attempt to pop the face down. 3 tails again. What is this luck? Has been awful. 6 tails flips in a row. 7 if we count the first twin barrel. And then 2 more tails after that. That's Rhea definitely not having great luck, but she's still got Barrel Dragon, so that might just be enough. 3 more tails. Dakuichi drawing a card here, protected by the Heavy Metal Raiders. Surely this time Rhea will. She finally got 2 heads. Blowback. Got 2 heads. Time to start cleaning up Icha's board here. Barrel Dragon in for 26. 0 cards in hand, 0 cards on field. Alright, Invader from another planet. That's not gonna be enough. Alright. 2 tails. 3 tails. There we go, 2 heads. Guaranteed game. Rhea taking it in 2. Quite easily, I think. Rhea. 2 over Icha, who, while this is going on, somehow manages to convince Rhea she's just an innocent bystander. Not sure how Rhea fell for it, but I think it's because she's got her eyes on potentially getting to David. We'll have to see. Next, however, is going to be 11 versus Zep. Okay. 11 with the Cute Beast Burn deck. Going up against Zep's Warrior of Zera. Zep trying to figure out who this person is in front of him. Very defensive opener here. 11, not a fast player. Prevent Rat Getting that little bit of deflected damage. Has a couple ways to go here. Choosing to go with Firewing Pegasus. Just gonna get Trap Hold. And Fissure cleans up the Warrior of Zera. Can Zep get anything going here? Alright, getting to search the Sanctuary in the sky. But just gets a Camera Clops. Camera Clops might do some work here. However, Skulldog Marin plus Black Pendant is at 1850. It's going to be a lot to deal with. And even if he can deal with it, it's still got 2k defense, so... Okay, well, another Camera Clops will just deal with that. It's worth taking the 500 burn. Swords here. Very, very good for a deck like 11's. Wisely just putting the Camera Clops to defense mode. 1600 defense, not bad at all. But Fissure cleans it up. Pot of Greed into Rhoda. Gets the Warrior of Zera. Alright. Mystic Horseman. Not, definitely not enough to stand up to Zeratius. Oh! There's Archlord Zerato. Alright, well, okay. I think that was a decent Harpies to get rid of 2100 on the board. Searchlight Man, Archlord, Zerato, and Warrior of Zera all getting in. Dropping 11 down to 1200 life points. And draws the Firewing Pegasus, and that's going to be game 1. Going into the Ishzark. That's probably one of the most powerful boards Zep can put together right there. So we head into game 2. Okay, let's see what's going on for game 2 here. Zep getting to go first. I'm not sure if that's wise or not. Zeratius getting the Sanctuary in the Sky to hand. To Reborn the Zeratius. Yeah, it's 2 nonetheless. 2 2100 attack point monsters. Oh, well, that's gonna get cleared right up. Except Divine Punishment. Negating the MST. And unfortunately, that is where 11 got ahead of themselves. Putting the monster in attack mode first. Luckily, Soul Tiger has 2100 defense. Skullangel draws a card. Gonna fissure that away, keep the board clean. It's gonna stop that Firewing Pegasus from coming down, at least for one more turn. Alright, well, Firewing Pegasus is going to come down, but we'll have to see if there's any way to stop it. Yes, there is a trap hole. However, currently Zep is 50 points away from winning this game. And there it is. No longer 50 points away. That is going to be lethal. Zep is going to take it 2-0. Continuing his investigation. Zep moving on. As next we head to Krieg versus Warden. I'm going to say this isn't so much a game that happens as much as them deciding who's going which direction. And that's okay. That's also okay because Krieg needs the practice for something. Warden getting to go first here. Poison Chain, some sets. Herculean Power gets the Goggle Golem. Gemini Soldier, oh well. But Supervise going to activate Goggle Golem's ability. And as we learned from Coriander, Goggle Golem sometimes is enough. There's the Dark Hold, cleaned it up. But Supervise just going to bring it back. Normal summoning the Goggle Golem. Popping that back row. Blast with Chain could have been good. Needleworm gonna mill 5. Ooh, Pot of Greed, Poly. What else got there? Featherizer. Oh, 2 Polys. A very, very, very good Needleworm there. However, Blazewing Butterfly. Also good. 5 more mill from the Needleworm here. Really, that's the biggest burst mill Warden has is those Needleworms. Blazewing getting back the Gold Knight, who gets its Gemini effect off. And Supervise just as protection for the Goggle Golem. Nothing wrong with that. Are we looking at a perfect victory for Krieg here? Quite potentially. Iron Chain Coil just not going to stand up to the Goggle Golem. And with that, the Chthonian Emperor Dragon's going to take game 1. Let's see what if Warden can stand up much of a fight. I mean, obviously, Krieg's deck is very good, and I love Iron Chain, but Warden's deck is definitely on the weaker side. Well, a handful of monsters. Maybe that's going to slow Krieg down some. 2 Gravekeeper Servants to help a little bit with the mill there. And the TT. Gonna choose to Gemini Spark here. Pop one of those Gravekeeper Servants. Poison Chain, but setting a card and passing, that might be just an Iron Chain Snake, something like that. Blazewing Butterfly gets supervised to bring back the Goggle Golem. Supervised, bringing back the Blazewing Butterfly. Yeah, you mill 2, but 2100 to the face, pretty good. Warden just setting and sweating. I'm not sure how much is left for him here. Just small amounts of mill as he takes 3,600 to the face. Only 2,300 life points left. If it's a TT, maybe there's hope. And Phoenix Gearfried. That's it. Warden not able to touch Krieg at all as Krieg moves further in. And with that, Krieg handles business. Moving on. Now, on Tomas's misadventures is coming up against Jean. Tomas, still wrong place, wrong time. As Jean, with her Blackluster Soldier, is ready to get things going. Very interesting hand here. Ritual Buster, Change of Hearts. Alien Hunter getting in. How do you say this card's name? Emperor Tanuki's Critter Accounts. That's gonna get BLS to hand. Earth Chance. Choosing, instead of using the Tanuki effect, gonna go into Blackluster Soldier with the monsters on board. Ritual Buster. Oh, yeah, okay. Just Cold Wave your opponent. Probably would have also loved those A counters to have been on Blackluster Soldier instead, because that thing's going to stick around for a little while. Get an Earth Chant here. And then taking control of, I think, the wrong monster. Tomas. I mean, as we know, if he could be this wrong about Bob, maybe he can just be wrong about plays. Mystic Tomato. Clean up the Manju. Alien Hunter. Here choosing to reborn the Alien Hunter, I assume just for, no, going into attack position. It's a little chip on the tomato, but the Envoy of Chaos and Blackluster Soldier, ooh, and a reborn. Not overextending. Very rare for the AI to do. As Jean is going to take game one. Tomas getting to go second. I mean, Jean is a ritual deck. There's always ways to brick. Like here, Blackluster Soldier with no ritual spell. I guess we'll see. And getting to Harpies away that TT. Alien Dog. Which is going to search up. Alright, Manju. Alien Grey in for 300. It's a good way to apply pressure, but Manju searching up the Javelin Beetle. And the Solemn. Very nice. Going to keep a BLS off the board. So Tomas is very behind on life points, but Bringing back the alien gray. Oh, it's because there is Alien Overlord. Very nice. Tomas, very much in control of the board. Okay, Revival of the World. Might get Gene there. Envoy of Chaos going down. Alien Overlord in for 2200. There's Alien Psychic. Envoy of Chaos coming back. Revival of the World. Banished the Javelin Beetle there. Revival giving up Javelin Beetle for the Javelin Beetle in hand. But yeah, even going even further beyond? No, just unfortunately not seeing the instant fusion as more material for the Blackluster Soldier. Envoy of Chaos buffing the Blackluster Soldier as Tomas gets 2-0'd. Gene taking care of business. Tomas has been taken in for questioning. I mean, how suspicious do you look? Insisting that, you know, you're just in the wrong place. You're not meant to be here. Somehow, the alien... Don't ask him about the alien thing. So weird. I wouldn't even worry about that. Next up, however, is Shell versus Kin. Shell's Water Dragons versus Kin's Ally of Justice. Honestly, historically, two of the weakest decks of all time. But that's okay. Shell getting to go first here. Just Kabazools and a Bonding. Just some good quality dinosaurs on board. Allied Justice Guard Hulk, however, with that Mystic Plasma Zone, might just be too much for Shell's deck to deal with. Okay, well, we got the Fossil Dig. Gonna get Duotarian. Setting the Hyper Hammerhead, so... something. Ally of Justice Thousand Arms. Hyper Hammerhead bouncing the Guard Hulk. Kabazools getting to instantly pop the... I believe it's Thousand Arms, right? Yeah. Guard Hulk running over the Kabazools. The Water Dragon and the Water Dragon cluster and the Duotarian in hand, I mean, that's just not really going to get you there. At least Hyper Hammerhead gets in for 1500. Dust Tornadoing the Bonding. And there's the Ally of Justice Quarantine, but choosing not to attack yet. This, however, may be the opening Shell needs to get something in here. Hydrogeddon in for 1600. And again, while this game probably doesn't actually happen, I'm going to count it for wins, losses, and all that for the series, so... They're still fighting for status, even though it's probably not a real fight. This is where Water Dragon suffers. This is a very poor hand here. Ally of Justice Quarantine getting in for 2200. With just a Dust Tornado, I mean, that's it. Game 1 going to Kin. Just losing to the 2300 vanilla. But let's see what Shell can do here in game 2. She's definitely got a shot to do something. This time going second. Kin with another Mystic Plasma Zone. Fossil Dig to get the Element Source. Alright. Pot of Greed's gonna get. Alright. Oh, you know what? Element Source does get the boost there from the Mystic Plasma Zone. Not that bad. Dark Hole's pretty bad, though. Ally of Justice Reverse Break. Or not Searcher. That's not Reverse Break. Gets rid of the Mystic Plasma Zone so that Hyper Hammerhead can run over Searcher. Very nice. See if Shell can get better control over this board here. I think she can if Kin can't play a card. To the Deuterion, 2000 attack. It's not perfect, but it could definitely help. Kin still with nothing on board. Luckily, Shell's deck is very full of bricks. So she can't really punish him for the lack of plays right now. Alright, that gives Kin one more turn. Alright, well, 4 turns of not playing a single card. Shell is going to take game 2. Who needs any Water Dragon stuff when you've just got a 2000 attack point monster? Alright, well, let's see what can clear this up. Kin going first. It's the Ally of Justice Quarantine. Xygeddon just running it over for 100. Bringing the Quarantine over to Shell's side of the field. And I assume we're going to see a DNA Search reset for Pyro here. Shell with one of the only 1800 attack point monsters available. Gives her a big advantage. And then 35 to the face. Soul Taker getting rid of the Oxygeddon. Deuterion bringing back the Oxygeddon, and that's it. Shell will be taking game 3. Means she'll be moving on to be see what else they can deal with on the other side. And Shell with the 2-1 to continue on. Next, Hawk versus Disc. Hawk very low key as he enters this duel against Disc. Disc, one of the only riders remaining in this tournament. It's going to be an uphill battle for him. Hawk with not a great hand, but, I mean, there's a lot of potential in it, which is, well, it got even better. Obviously, potential is the word of Red Eyes, so Dark Dragon Ritual away the Retro Dragon right into Paladin of Dark Dragon. Who's going to get Hawk's Red Eyes here into immediately the Red Eyes Darkness Dragon. That was a very, very good widespread ruin. Now, Disc taking Hawk's Red Eyes. Armored Cyburn getting Trap Hold here. Twin-Headed Behemoth going to defense mode. That Red Eye's got to be menacing for Hawk to face here. Getting the Red Eye Spirit. What a play by Hawk. Getting to running over the monster so he can fissure. Then setting the Red Eye Spirit as Red Eye's Revival. Sure, just as Disc thought he was taking control. But now with a 3,000 attack point Cyberdark Keel, I mean, that doesn't give Red Eyes the perfect thing to do here. So Hawk saving the Revival Trap. And there it is, Red Eye Spirit. Thanks to that MST, Red Eye's able to take care of the Cyberdark Keel. Master Dragon able to take care of that Twin-Headed Behemoth. Disc able to get that Pot of Greed to dig. Cyberdark Horn now with the Armored Cyburn. Which very unfortunately has piercing damage. There's the edge. Master Dragon going into Black Dragon's Chick. That Armored Cyburn has just been everything Disc really needs to keep up. You definitely are willing to give 1,000 life points to Disc here to at least stop the piercing. Hunter Dragon. No targets left for Master Dragon at that point. It's not a big Master Dragon suite there for Hawk. This time Hawk going second. If it wasn't for that widespread ruin in the first game, I think we've been in a much different situation. Now Hawk with an unfortunate brick. Another widespread ruin. And the Sangan. Getting a search of a twin-headed. At least Hawk has some removal here. Twin-headed back with 1,000. Soul taking the twin-headed. I'm not sure I loved that actually. But if he can just get a ritual spell or a ritual spell searcher, the Paladin of Dark Dragon can do a lot of work. Instead, another Paladin of Dark Dragon. A 1,000 more damage from Sangan here. This might be Hawk's last turn. And that's it. Unfortunately, drawing exclusively his brick cards. That is going to be it as Disc continues on. Alright, Hawk just not able to keep up here. He said he has great potential, not that he's got great skill now. This means we are in our top 8. David versus 9, Rhea versus Zepp, Krieg versus Gene, and Shell versus Disc. 2 riders still fighting on. The rest have already been apprehended or escaped. Then, of course, Zepp snooping around. And whatever it is that 9's doing here. Who is going to take on David next? David, seemingly having a discussion with 9 as they play here. Hushed tones, we'll have to see. David with some good burn and a Chaos Rider. Choosing not to set the Dust Tornado yet. And even being a little patient here. Okay, gonna use the burn as he clears the board. 1200, 500, and the Darkhold cleared the Illusory Gentleman. Not sure I loved that. Chaos Rider was definitely going to be able to hold the board. Dust Tornado going to stop the birth right here. It's not going to stop the second birthright. It's going to be 3k to the face. Chaos Rider going to get a boost off of that. Getting rid of the one that isn't attached with the birthright. Very smart in case he can draw some spell trap removal here. Choosing here to take a little damage just to stun the Illusory Gentleman. I would have loved that Chaos Rider to have been in defense mode though, because... Oh, and the Trihorn Dragon. Mystic Tomato goes into Dark Effigy. Mystic Tomato willing to be stunned here. And that's going to drop David to 50 life points. And depending on the attack order, David might live this turn. Okay. Thanks to those other 2 monsters unable to attack from the Rye Rider, he has one more attempt to do something about this, but he doesn't have a Dark Hole. And there we go. Game 1 goes to 9. Just a simple beatdown deck sometimes handles it, but we've seen David be very good before. See what he can do here. All right. Might be a very, well, Dark Elf's gonna be a little bit of an issue with that. Okay, Rye Rider. Good protection. Until the double Coston attacked it instead. But 9 going to be burning herself just a little bit here. Oh, setting the Discblade Rider was so bad. But luckily she paid 3,500 to stop much less burn than that. $1,500 burn from the Just Desserts. Alright, well, I think this means we are going to game 3. As long as the AI knows. Gets the revival of the Dokuro Rider here. There it is. Paying 1,000 life points to get the Zombie Warrior. There's the revival. Oh, you know what? That's not quite game. But both the Double Coston and the Dark Elf can't attack for different reasons. So now it's just a matter of getting 600 damage. Widespread, gonna be protection in case of a big monster actually coming down to contest the Dokuro Rider. Like a Cosmo Queen. Dokuro Rider's 1900 attack, going to be formidable enough for the time being. Dust Rider getting rid of the TT. Okay. Just gonna keep Harpies in hand. Chaos Rider not quite gonna be enough, I believe. Willing to crash here? Yep. Interesting. I mean, it does prevent a Cosmo Queen or Trihorn Dragon from coming down as easily. There's only one monster on board. David just looking for any burn here. And there comes back the Cosmo Queen. Forced to widespread here. Manju gonna deck thin a little bit, get the revival. Luckily he's still at 3,500 life points. Tomato trading up for the Manju. 9 gets an Illusory Gentleman. But unfortunately that is going to drop her by 200 life points. Or down to 200 life points. Manju searching up the Dokuro Rider. Alright, well there's the Cosmo Queen. There's the problem. Now David really just needs to draw any burn at all. Okay, we're a Dark Hole. Alright, well now it's basically whoever deals damage next wins. Survivor of the Dokuro Rider, getting rid of Des Volkstav. Into Dokuro Rider. Running over the Tomato. We're going to game 3. He just needed to get there. A very close one. And he'll be going first. Just some good set pass action here. pays 1,000, goes to defense mode. Depending on what that back row is, it might be okay, but otherwise... I'm just gonna deal 500 here. Reporting back that Dark Elf. Yeah, that's a smart TT there. Even up on life points, but not quite even on board state. I think 9 is in a better position here. Manju getting revival. It's only going to help so much. Dust Tornado just forced to only do 500. Double Illusory Gentleman. Basically, if 9 can get anything on board, that's it. Sry Rider going to prevent a little bit at least. Down to just 500 for David. Can he pull what he needs here? Stygian Street Patrol is 1,600 attack. So he is back in the game. Dealing also 400 burn. Does 9 have removal? 9 has Dark Elf. And with that, 9 is going to defeat David here. And as he attempts to escape, she's going to put herself between him and the military. Very interesting. And with that 2-1 victory, 9 continues on, seemingly covering David's escape. Perhaps they came to some sort of agreement during the match. Which means next up is going to be Rhea versus Zepp. Zepp getting in the way here. Zepp looking for answers. Rhea trying to apprehend the criminals. And I guess if he's going to get in the way, Rhea's going to have to deal with the situation. Twin Barrel and Blowback in the opening hand here for Rhea. I guess it's okay that Rhea's coin flip was once again not great, but... Zepp going to go ahead and take on the lieutenant here. He just once answers that badly, I suppose. Searching another sanctuary in the sky. And forced back. If anything in that back row can, oh. Very interesting. Not going for the tribute, going for more damage here. So 2 twin barrels to the face. What does that mean for Zepp here? Just going in for 2,100, dealing 400 damage. Unfortunately for him, there is a blowback in hand, so... Ooh, and the Harpies. Alright, well, there's the Divine Punishment, at least protecting the field spell. Blowback in an attempt to hit the back row here. 3 heads, alright. Gets rid of the Shadow of Eyes. Of course, since that was a fairy, no damage for Zepp. But now dealing with the Blowback Dragon's gonna be hard. I mean, it's 2,300 attack. And can attempt to pop something every turn. Alright, failed a coin flip there. What about here, Rhea? Once again, not getting it, but might be okay. Skull just going to draw Zep a card here. However, 2300 is not a good life point total. Just gonna MST the back row. And set, yeah, that might be game one here. Especially if this blowback dragon gets the pop. And it does, alright. And then the BM tribute summoning Barrel Dragon. Even though she already had lethal on board, Zep, she is kindly asking you to get out of the way. But he wants to see what this 9-person is doing. Maybe he can get some answers out of Rhea as to what this raid is. But he's going to have to work harder than that. Opening with the Pot of Greed, very good. Alright, Harpy's the back row. Just going in for 1400. Ooh, the Ceremonial Bell. Alright, well, at least we get to see Zep's hand here, which is fun. Oh, that's not good. You would have really liked that here. Camera Clops with the pop. And another Camera Clops in hand. I mean... Ooh, and the trap hole. Choosing not to crash. Alright, willing to trade the MSC for the trap hole. I respect it. Oh, especially with the blowback. Okay. Try to go for the Ceremonial Bell. Well, at least you get to pop a Camera Clops, and Camera Clops cannot pop the blowback dragon here. Yep, Warrior of Zera. Maybe if Zep can draw... Well, now it's much harder. I was about to say, maybe if Zep can draw the Sanctuary in the Sky for that Archlord Zerato in hand, but not quite there. Just the Scissors in defense mode. Oh, here it is. Gets the search for the Sanctuary in the Sky. Into the Archlord Zerato. Now, 2800 attack. Gonna put Rhea in a very interesting position here. Are these coin flips gonna work? No, once again, not. So she's gonna go for the Camera Clops. I think an okay choice to make here. I don't expect any attacks from the Archlord Zerato at the very least. In fact, yep, just gonna pop. 2800 to the face. Does Rhea have anything else here? Nope. Maybe if she draws the Barrel Dragon next. 1950 means without the correct draw, that is it. Swords of Revealing Light, that's a good one. We've already seen the Harpies here, so I don't expect Zep to clear the back row. So this should give her a little time, but we'll give her enough time. Twin Barrel, going for the Archlord Zerato. Double Tails. Choosing to take 400. She's just setting up for the next turn, but didn't work out thanks to the fissure. Another blowback. Last turn of swords here. And the card draw. Okay, which obviously Skull-Angel's not afraid to be an attack mode with that Sanctuary in the Sky on the board, so that Hidden Soldiers. Unfortunately, it's not going to be enough. Looks like we are going to game 3 here. Alright. Zep not letting himself get run over here by the lieutenant. It's going to be a very important game 3 here. Rhea getting to attack first. But Zep getting to set the board up. Terraforming and a Heavy Metal Raiders in hand. Alrighty. Thinning the deck by 1 Heavy Metal Raiders. I respect it. Oh, takes 200 here. And that's a destroyed card, so... Yep, TTing away the Barrel Dragon. Completely understandable move. And the Reborn. Okay, well... Barrel Dragon plus Twin Barrel Dragon is going to be very rough here for Zep. And it got the pop. Getting rid of MST. Something was destroyed by a Dark Machine. Twin Barrel for a massive 26. Does Zep have anything to fight back here at all? Sanctuary in the Sky. Fissure. That's gonna be it. Despite that stumble in game 2. Rhea powering through. Looks like she finds his press badge. Duh. It's gonna send him on his way without handcuffs, but he may have just cost her chance at getting David here. And that'll be Rhea with the 2-1 over Zep. Zep, who continues to have strong showings anytime he does show up. However, next up is going to be Krieg versus Jean. Once again, Krieg looking to send someone another way. We'll find out if he's the one that continues on here, or if it's Jean. Two very strong soldiers here. However, not a great opener for Krieg. But Jean is playing rituals well. I was about to say it makes you prone to bricks, but Manju into the Earth Chant. Ooh, and the Envoy of Chaos. Means we're seeing the BLS here. And a couple of back row. Krieg manages to pop. Dust Tornado, okay. Could be worse. And then once again, I think the AI is playing it a little out of order. I think I would have rather saved that. But regardless, no BLS on board at least. Envoy of Chaos for 1500. Okay, well, you know what? If he just lasts one more turn, if he just draws a monster, he's in very good shape here. No big damage coming through. Drawing a second poly is rough. I believe he only has 2 polymerization in the deck even, so getting those back to back is no good. Oh, Earth Chant. Sending away 2 level 4 monsters into the Javelin Beetle. Not as intimidating as Blackluster Soldier, but with that Envoy of Chaos in hand, that is, that's gonna show for lethal next turn. Gemini Soldier a little late. If you'd just drawn that instead of the Poly, that would have been a monster to get rid of the Envoy of Chaos. Krieg down to 100 life points, while Jean hasn't taken a single point of damage. There we go. There's a way to turn the tides. Bring back Jean's Blackluster Soldier. Getting rid of that Javelin Beetle. Alright. Zero defense, I mean, that's what you can do. However, Krieg is still in a very dangerous position at 100 life points here. Even with... Oh. Okay. But no monster for Jean. No monster for Krieg here either. Very safely putting up the swords. There we go, 2 Phoenix Gear freed. Which of course will make Super Alloy Beast Raptinus. And gets TT'd. Alright, well, it got out the TT at least, but... Ooh, Manju getting another Earth Chant here. Herculean Power with no monsters in hand. Alright. Last turn of swords, and we know there's at least... Oh no. Alright. 2 envoys. Knew there was at least 1. There's the Javelin Beetle. And now, no spells or traps. Okay, game 1 is going to Jean. Because, rituals get Cold Wave. You have to think, alright, what is the next plan of attack here? Can Krieg overcome this obstacle? Okay, Gemini Scorpion, Pot of Greed. That one's not too bad. Choosing just to go with the Goggle Golem, however. Oof. Earth Chant and 2 ritual monsters in hand turn 1. BLS is here. Yeah, you have to Gemini Spark that. The Blind Dust Tornado hits the TT. Okay. Krieg doing pretty well at the moment. Gemini Scorpion gonna eat the Trap Hole. And then the Safety Swords, alright. It's like, it's gonna be it for Krieg for now. Yeah, from your hand. Alright, so I expect the Gemini Scorpion to start getting in here. Unfortunately, nothing to special summon to snowball this board. But it's still 1600 attack, at the very least. And Dark Hole's gonna deal with that. Alright. And then the AI's favorite thing, instant fusioning into swords. Getting the Carbonla Warrior, who will just be destroyed here. Oh, huge. Even smarter, playing the Dark Hole first. Then getting to reborn back that Blackluster Soldier. Alright, despite a dominating game 1, looks like Jean may not be able to deal with this. I mean, she's got 2 cards in hand. She's not completely out, but I mean, what else can you do if you're Jean here? The tomatoes going into a witch. Alright. Witch of the Black Forest is something. Alright, Javelin Beetle. I mean, she's gonna take 1,600 here. Oh, supervising the Gold Knight's huge. The search here is going to be Envoy of Chaos. Alright. You don't have a Dark Hole. Just some face downs. Alright, is this it for Jean? Looks like it is. Krieg will be continuing on. Krieg, 2-1 over Jean. See who he's meeting when he turns down this hall. Is it going to be Shell? Or is it going to be Disc? Disc, the last member of the Riders, still fighting. The rest have either escaped or been apprehended. See how well he can take on the Water Dragon. Alright, well, Master Dragon. Shell not with a great opener here. I mean, at least when you've got... Oh yeah, it did power the element source up because of the fire. Hey, there was a wind. It could have cleared the board. But, very smart not to do that. No TT. I guess the AI didn't see that that power-up was coming. But, yeah, Bonding D2O and Torrential's not great. Copazol's may be able to take a little bit of, Alright, yeah. I think that's a fair TT. So just gonna set up that swords. If you're Shell, you're not in a good way. And the AI will just Dark Hole here. $1,700. Water Dragon's another brick. Reborn getting the Cabazuls. Does Disc have another monster to seal this? He does. Looks like game 1 is going to Disc. Shell barely able to even put up a fight. See what's going on here on the next duel. Shell getting to go first. It's just maybe the worst hand I've ever seen. But at least saving the swords. So there's that going on. Didn't just shotgun it. Gonna take 1,500 here. Fortunately, I do expect her to Dark Hole at this point. Yep. Then, here comes back the Twin-Headed Behemoth. I mean, at least she's not going to be taking any damage. Turning everything into a Pyro. Unfortunately, that does not affect the graveyard. If it did, that would actually do a lot. Oh, okay, hold on. Hydrogeddon's here. And the Master Dragon gonna activate as well. And Hydrogeddon's gonna clear this board up. 3 Pyro-type Hydrogeddons against the world. Means if we just see the Oxygeddon here, maybe we're okay. Ah, no Oxygeddon. Deuterion bringing back that Hydrogeddon. Alright. The dinosaurs taking over the board. Only 2,600 left. Pop the other DNA surgery. Reborn the Masked Dragon. Come on, Oxygeddon one time for me. Nope, just Element Source. Masked Dragon into Masked Dragon. This Masked Dragon into Masked Dragon. That Masked Dragon had nothing to go into, unfortunately. Running out of targets right at the end. Very unfortunate. Okay. There we go. Cyberdart Keel being at 2,200. It's going to be just powerful enough to put up an issue. Now you legitimately need to draw that Oxygeddon. Shell had so many turns to draw it to get that Water Dragon on board. It may be too late now. Yep, especially with 2 Hydrogeddons going to the graveyard. I believe bonding only works from field. Yep. Also dig for the Oxygeddon a little late. Oh, that works even if you get destroyed. Okay. You know what? Yeah, that's cool. That works. Shell takes it. I didn't even think that would happen. So yeah, Oxygeddon was game in more than one way there. MST, a Pot of Greed, and a Hydrogeddon? I mean, it's gotta feel pretty good. Oh, well. Hunter Dragon, 100 more attack. A little less good. Fossil Dig going to get the Oxygeddon. Take advantage of the fact that your monster Oxygeddon is just a little bigger. Double Hunter Dragon in attack position. Okay. Unironically, a little better than it looks because it stopped Hydrogeddons and ultimately stops a Water Dragon, at least by turn. And the swords. Alright, well, this will still hypothetically give Shell some time. Oxygeddon, Hydrogeddon. Hydrogeddon gets popped by the fissure. Not soul taking the Cyburn. Oh, great play there. MSTing the Cyburn equip. Very nice. Playing the Hydrogeddon to actually prep for a hypothetical Water Dragon play here. Unfortunately, that's not going to happen unless she hard draws a Hydrogeddon here. And the TT to clear all the dinosaurs. Forced to TT back. She's got 2 removal spells in hand, but Hydrogeddon a little late. In fact, you know, an Oxygeddon and 2 other Hydrogeddons are in the graveyard right now, so that's just a lot of dead bonding cards in hand. For Hyper Hammerhead and Hydrogeddon, get in for a little more. Soul Taker only affects face-up monsters, so Deuterion getting back the Oxy. And ending on a twin-headed behemoth. Choosing not to soul take it. Deuterion again. Want to check D2O here. Yep, could have worked. However, Shell ends up taking down Disc. Incredible. And with Shell taking down Disc, that is the last of the riders dealt with. All of them have either gotten away or been arrested. However, there's still one threat here on the board in 9, who'll be taking on Rhea in our top 4. Be sure to let me know, who do you think's going to take this position? 9's Dark Monsters, Rhea's Dark Machines, Krieg's Geminis, or Shell's Water Dragon? No matter what happens, it's going to be interesting. I'm super excited. Let's go. 9 here choosing to get in the way of Rhea. So Rhea's going to attempt to stop this individual from doing whatever it is that she's doing. Which right now is just summoning Dark Elf and passing. For Heavy Metal Raiders is such an incredible card. Takuichi bumped by 600. There we go. Harpy's Feather Duster, nothing to stop it here. Choosing to just go for the Illusory Gentleman. Save some life points, get in for 2k here. Rhea very much on the back foot. Forced to Dark Hole. A very understandable one there, however. Nothing for Twin Barrel to shoot. Yeah, you gotta go Dark Elf here. And nothing. Rhea is bricked. So Dark Effigy's gonna come down, and that's gonna put Rhea in a bad way immediately. Because next turn we're seeing a Cosmo Queen, like we just are. Rhea's already down a Dark Hole. Oh, worse than Dark Oh, nope, not gonna do it. Just gonna sacrifice the Dark Effigy to do it. But that Blast Sphere doesn't matter when Dark Elf takes game 1. Rhea perhaps taken aback by this person getting in the way. However, I have full faith in Rhea's deck to take this on. TT Birthright Dark Effigy. Not the worst start, not the best start, but ooh, Feather Dusting that very strong back row away. Okay, just getting rid of the Dark Effigy and setting a Swords. gets to Ancient Rules into the Trihorn Dragon. It's going to be a tough one now. At least Rhea set something here, but the Illusory Gentleman getting to join the board for a moment. No Heavy Metal Raiders when it's desperately needed for a position like this for Rhea. Sacrificing 2 Blast Spheres. Attempting to get rid of this Trihorn Dragon right now. It does fail, however. Is there a back row trick to help Rhea right now? Or is this about to be a brutal turn? Takes 37.50 here. 9 just dismantling the Lieutenant at this point. Once again, Rhea just going for it. And not getting it. Kind of doing all she can to stay in the game. But if 9 draws the right monster here, it is over. Alright. Rhea with some life points left. Is it enough? It is not. Rhea is going to get 2-0'd by 9 here, meaning it is going to be up to Shell or Krieg to put a stop to 9. Nine with the 2-0. Now hearing some footsteps coming from down the hall, we're going to find out whose footsteps those are. Is it Krieg's or is it Shell's? Here we go. Let's see who is moving on to the finals to deal with 9. Is it going to be Krieg or is it going to be Shell? Shell, I mean, you can't say she hasn't been impressive despite her deck. Having Oxygeddon is huge. Getting to Harpies here. Setting the swords, yeah. I would have loved to have seen Gemini Scorpion plus one of those Geminis in hand, but Duotarion, okay. But I do expect Chthonian here. With the Supervise is big. Means Chthonian is going to attack twice here. Dealing 3,000 this turn. And has protection. Dark Hole. Supervise, bringing back the Chthonian Emperor Dragon. Now the question is, does he Gemini summon or does he Scorpion into Goggle Golem? He chooses to Scorpion into Goggle Golem. I think that's a very good move. Here dealing another 4,000 direct damage. Krieg very handily taking care of Shell here. Harpying the back row. Kabazol's at least not making it a perfect victory, but yeah, I'm going to say that's it. Normal summon the Chthonian Emperor Dragon. 700, 2400. Game 1 to Krieg. Almost got it perfect, but Shell able to sneak in that Kabazol's. Let's see if her fate changes here in Game 2. We've seen her come back before. And this isn't an amazing hand here for Krieg. I mean, it's got Gold Knight Supervise, but Okay, actually this hand just is fantastic looking at it again. Gold Knight Fissure. Reborn. Gets the Cabazols. Screw it. Supervise. Turn it into a machine. Gets no search because it wasn't actually normal summoned, which is very funny little interaction there. Hyper Hammerhead to bounce the Cabazols back to her own hand. And then reborning the Hammerhead. Very nice. Yeah, well, definitely the play I would have made here. Just put the Blazewing back in hand, keep the Gold Knight, keep the pressure. Now Gemini Spark to cover anything else. Gonna Gemini Spark to pop the Hydreigon here. Good play, I think. And Supervise was destroyed. And that's it. Krieg is going to get the 2-0 over Shell. Just like that. Krieg heading to the finals to face 9. Alright, Krieg arriving to see if he can deal with this mysterious masked individual. But first, just like all other intermilitary games, I don't think this actually happens, but I wouldn't deny us a game between Rhea and Shell. So let's take a look here. See who gets the bronze medal, at least in our minds. Not physically, but for the record books. Alright, we got Rhea's Dark Machines. We've got Shell's Water Dragons. Rhea getting to go first. Definitely could be worse setups here. Heavy Metal Raiders to start is always good. Getting to Dark Hole the Dekoichi. Reborning it back to her own board. And the Oxygeddon, which obviously is a massive monster. But there is a way out of this, so first there's a train crash, then there's a gun dragon. You cannot say Shell didn't do fantastic in this tournament, regardless of if she gets the bronze here or not. Gonna attempt to pop the swords. Fails to do so. I mean, we've seen just how bad Rhea's coin luck's been, so I'm not exactly shocked. Gonna take 800 to put back that blowback dragon. Heavy Metal Raiders proccing second, so it's gonna put the Death Scissors on the board, but still. Ooh, the forced back gonna be big. Choosing not to tribute summon into it at this point, not seeing why she should. I think that's understandable. Oh, the Blast Spider. Alright, well. This is really going to give Shell an opening here if she just draws. There's so many bricks in Water Dragon. 3 kinds of bonding, 2 kinds of Water Dragons, and Duotarion. Cabazol's getting forced back. See what this Pot of Greed gets her. Dekoichi, not bad. choosing to hang on. I respect that. Blowback Dragon. Gets to pop the Kabazals, which just summons, and that's 4,900. Are you going to poly here in the end phase? No, just choosing to keep both. That's fair. Getting the Heavy Metal Raiders. Barrel Dragon, you gonna do it? Barrel Dragon's gonna do it. And 2,600. It's gonna be game 1 to Rhea. I think Shell had a shot there. But she defeated Disc. That means she knows how to beat machines. Dark machines specifically. What does she got here? Hydrogeddon, pretty good. Twin Barrel gonna attempt to pop a back row. However, going to TT that. Twin Barrel still gonna attempt to pop here. And fails. Alright. What does Shell have? Has a heart piece. And a Kabazals. Alright. 1,700 to the face. Definitely not bad. That Blast Sphere looking mighty good here. Chooses to go with Dekuichi. Maybe to dig for something. Obviously, already losing that poly is a little eh. Second Blast Sphere. Again, if I'm Rhea, I really like the Blast Spheres here to clear the board. No, still trying to dig. Oh no. Twin Barrel attempting to pop the face down here. Does fail. Okay, let's see if Rhea wants to value the 2,200 defense of the Blast Spider here or not. Does, okay. Then should something big come down, there's still a forced back to deal with that. Can you do a Duoterion here with the Fossil Dig? And just gonna force that back to hand. That's gonna give enough time for a Blowback Dragon here. And a Heavy Metal Raiders. Alright. Is it gonna manage to pop the back row? It is. Even though it's just a bonding, I mean, that's something. Rhea really, putting Shell on the ropes here. Does get the Dark Hole. And nothing else. Okay, well. Alright, here's that. Now, that turns off the field spell by turning the Death Scissors into a Pyro. Heavy Metal Raiders will not care if you are a Dark Pyro instead of a Dark Machine. Oh no. Alright, well. Hydrogeddon doesn't even get the summon effect because the Blast Sphere is not destroyed. It goes to the back row. However, I think with summoning the Death Scissors over the Blast Sphere, ugh, I think Shell is taking game 2. It all depends on this coin flip. That's it. Shell's gonna take game 2 here. Soul taking, just to keep the board clear. Alright, well, we are going to game 3. If you asked me who wins, Water Dragon or Barrel Dragon, I would not say Water Dragon even gets a game out of the 2 out of 3. So Shell already impressing once again. But the Blast Spider is 2200 defense, so Cobblezole's going to take 500 deflected. Now, turning everything to a Pyro is going to turn off Limiter removal, and it's going to turn off Heavy Metal Raiders. At least that Limiter removal ended up being bait. Ooh, into the Duotarion. This Twin Barrel's going to have to do some work here, or I don't know. Choosing to Dark Hole here. The AI actually sequencing things in a correct order. Now activating the TT, so you don't care if the TT gets popped or not. It went off. Does get double tails. And the swords. Maybe this lets her get some Water Dragon pieces of some sort. Hydrogeddon, unfortunately, is not killing that Blast Sphere. Is going to get popped here. 1600 burn. Also digging for the Oxygeddon. Okay. A massive 1800 attack point monster. Is Pottery going to get Rhea anything? Well, maybe. Twin Barrel? No. Force back a little protection. Let's see. Oh, here we go. Blowback and Barrel Dragon into the Gatling Dragon. The first time we've seen Rhea's fusion here. And one heads means only popping that Oxygeddon. That Gatling Dragon may have sealed it. Okay, can you draw any monster here? Yep, Blast Spider ought to do it. 1400 attack for the Blast Spider, and a direct attack, giving the bronze medal to Rhea here. Alright. And with that, with Rhea taking the 2-1 over Shell, that is going to make Rhea our first character to ever get more than one medal. Rhea now having 2 bronze medals. But let's see who's taking the gold. Is it going to be 9 or is it going to be Krieg? Huge implications either way here. We are going to get 9's POV as she takes on Krieg. upon finding a defeated Rhea, he is not happy. Definitely going to try and deal with whoever this masked person is. Wisely saving the TT till after the Scorpion effect. The blind MST is going to hit a TT on his side. So, I mean, 1700 to the face. Krieg's got to dig in here. Gold Knight. Pass. Gemini Spark, maybe? Looks like it. However, the effigy gets in for 1500. Blazewing Butterfly pass. Okay. Not quite sure why it's in attack mode. Ooh. And the Ancient Rules makes that doubly bad. There's not a lot left here for Krieg to do. Especially with the double cost on, I think that means 9 is taking game 1. As Cosmo Queen gets in. Nine. 1 win away from taking this all down. Krieg going second here. Ooh, the Dark Elf or the Dark Effigy. Choosing to attempt a high roll here with the Dark Elf, or with the Dark Effigy. Herculean Power gets the Goggle Golem and normal summons it. Now, even if those Dark Elves come down, Goggle Golem can deal with it. A very good move in a lot of ways. Double cost on, however, huge stats to have to deal with here. Deflecting by 50. Now if that Gemini Soldier gets to pop off here, that's going to be big, big trouble. Ooh, but TT. But it gets popped by the Dust Tornado. Okay. And the Blazewing Butterfly. Gonna go ahead and pop that back row. Get in for 37. And protecting the Goggle Golem here with the Supervise. Okay. Gonna pay 1,000 to run over the Scorpion there. But is it going to be enough? Pot of Greed. Here, choosing to normal summon the Gemini Soldier. Gonna activate the Common Charity that's supposed to get popped here. Banishing the Trihorn Dragon. However, Supervise gets the Blazewing Butterfly. And another Blazewing Butterfly from the Gemini Soldier. Krieg is going to take game 2. Meaning this all comes down to game 3. Is Krieg going to put a stop to 9? Or is 9 about to pull something spectacular here? Oh, a very strong start here. Gemini Soldier, no special summon. Gemini Scorpion, no special summon. Rules for the Cosmo Queen. Getting to at least Dark Hole, the Dark Effigy. Now Krieg needs to deal with this Cosmo Queen and the back row. there's the dark hole, but I mean, unfortunately, that's... Is this actually just completely over? No, because of the Reborn being on the Cosmo Queen means Krieg does get to fight back. Or not to fight back, but, I mean, gets another turn. That's it. Krieg had absolutely no resistance to deal with 9 here. And 9 is gonna defeat Krieg here in the finals. There we have it. With that victory, 9 will be taking the gold medal, Krieg taking the silver. Not only is 9 taking the gold medal, but with enough distraction dealing with Krieg, 9 is able to release all of the riders who have been captured. They're going to be a little scattered for the moment, but they are now on the run, thanks to 9's interference. And this may mean a very fruitful partnership might be coming for David here. We'll have to see. But maybe it's not. There's a lot of moving parts right now. Why were 9 and 11 here? What is Rich doing? Who is Ichao working for? Who knows? But the bad guys just got a whole lot stronger. Gonna end the tournament here. 9 taking it all. Krieg and Rhea getting silver and bronze. I hope you're prepared for another big shakeup after we head to Worlds. Join us next time where we crown the first official release world champion. I hope you're excited. I certainly am. I can't wait. As always, check the description for any Picrews, any artists. Leave in the comments what you thought. So, it's just, I, as the storyteller, am super excited to see where we're going next. Catch you next time.